listening to the Intrepid radio program with Scotty Roberts. Intelligent Talk.
Well, hey, folks, welcome to the Intrepid radio program. This is Scotty Roberts. Glad you could be here. That was kind of a little test run there to see if our opening still worked. Here I am at the home studio, no longer in the makeshift studio, at least for this week and a few days, and thought I'd give it a try because I didn't think I'd have any time to come in tonight, but here we are. And so I want to welcome you to the show, if you're even there. And I want to say thanks for being here. And it's not going to be a show. We're just going to catch up a little bit. It's been a grueling 24 hours and just flew home. Got in a few hours ago. And there's sticky stuff all over my desk. That's now all over my hands. I have no idea what that is. Will you bring me a wipe, please? Hey, Steve Clark. How you doing? Kevin Miller, good to see you. I don't have my lights hooked up right over here, and I don't have my my other stuff, but this is the home studio, not the makeshift studio tonight. And if you missed the intro, we gave the intro music a test run, and it worked well. You want to see it again? As long as you're here, and I've got to get my fingers wiped off for whatever's sticky all over my desk while I'm gone. Hey, Steph, good to see you. I'm not going to be long tonight, but here, let's do this again. Watch this.
You're listening to the Intrepid radio program with Scotty Roberts. Intelligent Talk.
Isn't that nice? That's kind of cool. It's kind of cool to see that back again. We'll have to bring that back to the makeshift studio with us so we can use it over there. And I've got Rowan is standing here eating a yogurt. It's going to be bedtime for everyone pretty soon. As I was saying, this is not an official program tonight. This was just me running a couple of tests to see if I could use that video the right way. And so it looks like it's working. I've also got my stereo mic hooked back up. I think you will see the sound quality is different. Tell me, I'm going to do a little test. If I tap on the mic, can you hear this? There'll be a little bit of a delay, but did you hear that tapping? If you heard that tapping, that's that mic working. And there's Rowan back there. And so, hey, Doug, good to see you. Susie Q, good to see you as well. Who else we got in here? You heard it. Okay, Kevin Miller. That is my wild wiring here that was all unplugged when I came back. So I had everything plugged back in. I've got it chosen for that mic and that soundboard. Wasn't sure if it was pulling through or not. So there it goes. So you'll notice a little sound quality difference because we have the mic and we have the soundboard hooked up. Hey, what do you want to show people? What are you showing? What are you jumping around up and down about back there? Let me lower this down a bit. It's Ellery. Oh, it's just a half a cantaloupe.
I know.
There. Well, that's great stuff. I really like it. So, it was a very tiring last 24 hours. Sam and I got up over at the makeshift studio down in Lake Charles, Louisiana. And we had to drive over a couple and a half hours over to Houston. I could have caught my flight home from Lake Charles, but it would have been about 4 or 5 times more money. And so we had to go into Houston. It was about 2.5 hour drive. And so we left about 11:30 last night just to make sure we got there. We only had one mishap along the way, and that was a traffic backup at some construction work just over the Texas border. And so that took us a little bit of a while. Hey, Texas Joe, good to see you. And so I am, we made it just fine. I got there about 2 hours earlier than my flight and it got through security. I put up some pictures of security It was abandoned. It was about 2:15. No, it was 2:45 when I went to security. And security, they could not see him. And so I went up to security and nobody was there. And I finally found out from somebody, well, they don't open till 3:45 in the morning. So I just hung out, and I looked up at some point about a half an hour later, and there's like 50 people in line. There's no security there yet. And I thought, everybody's so damn worried about getting first in line and not spending enough time. And I thought, well, I guess I better get up in line. Otherwise, I'll be at the back of the line. And sure enough, I got up in line, and within 10 minutes, there were another 100 people behind me. So I got through security just fine, and went over and sat down and waited. I fell asleep, frankly. I fell asleep sitting in the chair, waiting, and then I heard my zone being called, and I rushed up there. So then I had to switch. I had to fly to Orlando, and then in Orlando, switch planes. And so then flew from Orlando here back in Minneapolis. That might seem like a roundabout way to go, but there it is. Hey, Matt Finn, Master Finn, good to see you. I didn't get much announcement out because I really didn't think until about 25 minutes ago that I would even get on air tonight. I was exhausted. I fell asleep on the sofa here. We cleaned off the front patio, the kids and I, and Rainey did some stuff, and we did some running. Oh, my friend Dave picked me up, Dave Potter, and drove me to where Rainey was doing massages this afternoon. And that's where I met her. And then we went to get right from there to get kids from school. Then it was home. And so my wife and I had a private moment together. No, not at all yet today. So that might happen sometime before I leave, I hope. And so, well, we've got all day tomorrow. Tomorrow I pick up my old routine for a day. And I'll be driving my kids to school in the morning. And then we'll see how the day goes. Stuff to do here. It'd be nice to get caught up with some things. And what did Doug say? I'm having a negative day. You're too positive a guy to have a negative day, Doug. We want you in the makeshift studio where you have internet issues. Yeah, really. Look at that. No internet issues. My intro played, my soundboard is working, my mic is working, and everything seems to be going okay so far, knock on wood. And so, yeah, it's nice to be here. Matt Finn says, get your poo. Get your poo together, Sailor Stackius. I agree with Master Finn. So Sam is all by his lonesome back there in the camper in the makeshift studio down in Lake Charles, Louisiana. Doug, I know you guys talk now and then. Give him a nice little text message and say hey to him and stuff like that. So he's going to be alone for a couple of days. Everybody gets back from vacation now. That was gone. All our Mexican crews took some of our guys and went to Mexico. And one of our other guys went up here. He lives up here in Minnesota. And I think he flies back tomorrow. And so, hey, Susie Q, thank you. And you can hear kids yelling in the background, but that's okay. That's home. That's what it's like. And I do not have a formal program tonight. I just wanted to broadcast because I had a few minutes. Everything seemed to be pushing me toward that decision to be made. And we got all hooked up, and here we are. So how was your good day today? I'm not going to spend very long here tonight, just enough to, when I was sitting, I fell asleep on the couch, and a hard sleep. It was like, oh. And so I stood up, and I started going out on the patio and getting the kids rallied. Let's clean up this front patio and stuff. Your stuff's all over it. Keeping them motivated was ridiculous. But we got it done, and without too many complaints. And then the girls went off to the neighbors, and Flynn went upstairs, and Rainey went upstairs, and then it was all of a sudden I came in the house, everything was quiet. It's like, where is everybody? So it was nice, though, nice greeting. My little Ellery, she hugged and kissed me and hung on me from the back seat until we got on the road, of course, when we went and picked him up at school. So that was great. And I paid money to someone and is viewing this. I paid money to someone and is viewing this. Well, with a proper English sentence like that, field guy, how could I not miss your meaning? So Steve Clark says he was busy today. And Kevin, I am glad you're here, Kevin. It's good to see you. Doug Stack, I paid money to view this, Roberts, and you're getting every dime's worth out of this, Doug. And have I stolen any of your kids' Easter candy yet? Asked Kevin Miller. Well, there was a glass jar out there. No, it was a glass measuring cup, being one of those big 4-cup things full of jelly beans. So I had a few of those. And yeah. Oh, I had interesting experience on the airlines. I know that they want you to wear a mask. I know that's the policy. No problem with it. It's their policy right now. I get it until that gets lifted. But so I walked in. I had my my bandana, which I don't know where it is. I think it's in the car, but it was a black one, like one of these, my cowboy bandana. And so I had this, and I had it tied on like that, like I usually do, over my nose. And I came on the plane, and there was a very large, this is only for description's sake. If I was writing this as a story, I would describe her. A tall African-American woman, very big and burly. You might have thought linebacker may have honestly gone through your head. And she had that blonde reddish color that blacks will do sometimes. And the big, long, kinky, curly, long, orangey blonde hair. And she was a very imposing look when you came on the plane. And I came on the plane with the mask, and she had a big mask on. And she said, "Sir, you're going to have to put on another mask." And I said, you know how when you enter a plane, you're right there in front of them, then you turn and you go down the aisle. And I said, and I leaned in, and I said, "I'm sorry, I didn't catch that." She puts up a hand. She goes, "Back off." I'm like, "I wasn't closing in on you." But she said, "Back off, sir. You have to wear another mask beneath that bandana. You can't just have a bandana. You have to have a double layer." And I said, and I had this on, of course, and I said, "Well, look," I said, it is a double layer." I said, "It's folded in half." I said, "That's 2 layers." She gives me a look like exasperation. Took her all of 8 seconds to get exasperated with me. And she said, "You have to have one of these on, or you have to have it on underneath your bandana." And I go, and she goes, "I don't know how they even let you on this plane." And mind you, I wasn't doing anything. I wasn't complaining. I wasn't whining. I wasn't whinging about anything. I wasn't like, "Oh, you're going to make us wear a mask, huh? Did you know that?" There's none of that. I was very nice. I just didn't hear what she said at first. She was very muffled because of the mask in her mouth. And I said, I'm sorry, I didn't quite catch what you said." And she said, and I repeated, and I just told you what she said. And I said, "Well, I do have a double layer. Is that going to work?" And she goes, "No, you have to put the mask on." No. Oh, I said, okay. And then she said, "I can't believe they even let you on this plane like that." And I said, "Well," I said, "look at the upside. There's been no problem." I said, "You're here to make sure that got taken care of." I said, "Good job. Thank you for the mask." And I put it on, and I went back to my seat. Found my way back to my seat. So it's like, what was the attitude? I don't care if you got to fly with 250 people 3 times a day across country in the air and serve them drinks or whatever. And, there's very little service. You had to pay for everything. This was Spirit Airlines, by the way. So I hope somebody from Spirit Airlines is hearing this. You can enforce a federal mandate. You can enforce any company policy without being dicks about it. And she was being a dick. And I wasn't. I happen to know when I have a good attitude, and I happen to know when I turn on the dick attitude because I need to. I'm very cognitive of my attitudes. And so, was this a passenger? Yeah, I was a passenger. What do I do with my glasses? See, I'm at a different computer, different sizes. This computer screen is like that big. And so everything's a little different. So now I got to put on my glasses to read. Was this, but no, this field guide, this was one of the stewardesses or the flight attendants. There you go. That's the more proper term to use now. So she chose the job. Yeah, exactly. I was not being untoward with her in any way, shape, or form. I had no reason to be. And she was like, right away, back off. I'm like, no social distancing, back off. But then what? They put us all shoulder to shoulder with everybody else in the plane. Maybe that's why we needed the double layer of masks. So anyway, hey, Mary Wins. Good to see you. No, I'm not high. But there wasn't a question mark there. So James says, Spirit, you're lucky they didn't ground the flight and call the cops over a 2-year-old autistic girl. Exactly, James. Well, you know what? When the captain came on, the captain always comes on and announces, we're going to be taking off as soon as we're cleared here in about 3 minutes, and we're going to raise an altitude of blah, blah, blah. And Minneapolis today is about 59 to 60 degrees for a high and blah, blah, blah. And he said, now this was the first flight where that happened. Now the second flight, no, these were all the second flight. Then the captain over the loudspeaker said something about, and yes, we do require, federal mandate that everybody wears a mask and so on and so forth. And if you have a problem with this, he said, then just keep in mind there are 78 airports between Orlando and Minneapolis, and we'd be happy to pull over and drop you off at one of them. I thought, what horrible customer service that is, even if it's kind of funny or lighthearted to some people. And I don't think that was for my benefit because I wasn't arguing with anybody. And so that was said, and I thought that was really kind of a poor way. I want to call Spirit Airline. This is the kind of thing I want to do. I'd love to get them on an interview and say, why is this the attitude that's given? Could that not be presented in a more positive way for people? So, it is, Steph. It was freaking rude. And I don't think the captain was targeting anything at me unless, big linebacker, long, curly, red-haired, orange-haired flight attendant went in and said, we got this guy that's got a problem, and he's not going to put on his mask. And that nothing like that happened, so I can't imagine that would have been targeted at me. But anyway, there's that. And so I'm home. It was a good time. That's why they're a-holes. I see what you're saying. Captains have tenure, so they can pretty much do as they choose. Very, very true, field guy. I can picture them dragging him away, exclaiming, he's no concern to you anymore. Yeah, pretty much, Matt Finn. So, and I swear to you all, I said nothing untoward. My attitude didn't smack of anything wrong. She was just like, stop. I'm like, I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you. And I couldn't understand what she said. I mean, it was like, you're going to want to take a back under this head? And I'm like, I'm sorry, what? Back off. So, it's like, sorry. Can't we all just get along? So, let's see. Sean, I see Sean is in here somewhere. Somebody said, you okay, Sean? You're okay, Sean. Is it you or your? I wasn't sure. Sean Bowden is in here. Orange flight attendant lady was huge. Yes, sir, she was. And I only describe this way, not because I'm racist, but because I like to tell a story and I like to give the visual. She was a big African-American woman or black woman or whatever you want to, whatever term you want to use to describe her that's polite and politically correct. And she had the long, kinky, curly, really long hair that was colored orangey, yellow, gold. And she was very big. She was like, just massive. And, it was kind of like, I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you. And she's like, back off, with the hand up, back off. I'm like, what? I just asked what you said. I didn't like take a step in to give her a hug or anything like that. I leaned forward. I went, I'm sorry, what was that? Because I couldn't hear her over the airplane noise. So anyway, there you go. That was my flight today. So I'm here. It's fine here. The house is here. My wife's here. My kids are here. Great to see my wife. My wife came out. She was doing massages. So I came to the lobby where she was. She came out and walked right over and gave me a big kiss, big hugs. And my friend Dave was with us, Dave Potter. He's a big fellow, and he's got a big, long white beard. Some of you may know him, long hair. He's been a friend of mine for 30 years, and he knows Rainey and I and the kids. The kids all refer to him as Uncle Dave. That's that Uncle Dave. And so we're standing in the lobby, and Rainey comes out, and I go, hey, like that. And just as she gets to me, Dave jumps in. He goes, interception. And he puts his arms around Rainey. So he got the hug first today, but then I got a hug. And then we went to pick up the kids at school. And it was wonderful. It was great seeing everybody. So it was a good afternoon. I don't have a lesson or a message or a lecture or anything set for tonight at all, because I wasn't expecting to come on. So I just wanted to come on and say hey to everybody and say I made it. I will not be broadcasting for sure tomorrow night because Flynn and I will be on our way to the Scout Camping in a Cave, Boy Scouts. So we're going Friday night. Wednesday night. Right? I'm getting my days are all screwed. Yeah, it's Wednesday night. So I might be here tomorrow night. We might be able to do a show tomorrow night unless I get a date planned with my wife and we get to go out together. If we're here and our day is done, it's been full and fulfilling, then I may come in and do a show tomorrow night. Friday night, I'm out with Flynn to some big cave. It's about 3.5 hour drive from here, down toward the Iowa border. And we're going to be camping in some big cave with the Boy Scouts. And so that'll be fun. Camping in a cave. And my body is so achy right now. It's been growing for the last couple of weeks. It's achy. Everything hurts. From the ribs to the lower back to I had a bout of very high blood sugar the other day because I ran out of meds, and that's back to normal. But my last week especially, I've just had this growing shuffling about me. But I seem to be doing okay now. I'm okay. I can chair dance. You can dance if you want to in your chair. So I'm doing okay. But the idea of camping out in about mid 30s to 40 degrees outside at night, and we're camping in a cave, big cave, cavernous caves. I have no idea. Might be super fantastically exciting. It may also be interesting to keep up. I never thought I'd ever say that in my life, to be able to keep up with my kids. But right now I'm a little slow on the march. So you're back in your studio, Scotty. Yes, I am, Matthew Sainsbury. Welcome back. Be careful. I'm here for a week, but I won't be broadcasting every night. Maybe tomorrow night, not Friday night, not Saturday night, probably not Sunday night, not Sunday at all. There will be no Sunday unless Rainey wants to get on here and broadcast. I'd give her a quick tutorial on how this works and make her do a whole show. But Monday, most probably do a show. Then Tuesday in the wee hours, I am back, flying back to Louisiana on Tuesday morning. So that's that. So the cave gives you protection from the weather. Yeah, it does. My wife told me yesterday, she said, be sure to bring 2 pairs of clothes and 2 shoes and extra socks because you might get muddy and wet. I'm like, I might get muddy and wet. Thought we were going to look at caves. So, yeah, that's the way it is. So, it'll be fun either way. Be fun. Flynn wanted me to come along. So Yeah, the El Irish topic is a good one. We're still not finished with that yet, so we may pick that up whenever we're on here next tomorrow night. So, folks, that's really about all I've got because I'm not doing a real show. And I want to go up and have some time with the kids before they go to sleep, since it's my first night back in 2 months. So here's what we're going to do. James said I shared a hilarious meme on FB today about a dad and his son and what is a pillow fight. And dad knocked his boy on his back first. Hit. There you go. That's a pillow fight. So here we go. I'm going to take off. It is now 9:27, so we've broadcast for about 27 minutes. And I want to thank you for coming in. Thanks for being here. Thanks for checking it out without pre-announcements that we were even doing anything. So I appreciate your being here. Didn't think I'd be on at all tonight, but here I am. How's that, Doug, for cheap? I told you I wasn't going to be here at all, and you got me for a half an hour. Doug. Morgan Snow, good to see you. What do I think about Eric Von Daniken? Now, there's a whole big question as I'm getting ready to sign out. What do I think about Eric Von Daniken? I think Von Daniken was pretty good at what he does. I liked his book. He really introduced to pop culture the ancient astronaut theory. That's why I liked him. He came and spoke at the Paradigm Symposium in 2012. His first American appearance in 12 years was at our symposium. And he said of the symposium, afterwards, he said, "It was the most perfect symposium, congress I have ever attended. Everything was perfect. The people, everything." So that was his take on it after the first symposium. And so yeah, we had a good time with him at that time. So always liked Von Daniken, always liked what he brought to the table. And he was a fun guy to be around. One thing I noticed about Eric Von Daniken, and I've told you all this before in a different context, but I asked that he be available for everybody, come and hang at the bar and in the lobby as much as he could. And what I would find, he would come down during some of the lectures, and then in the afternoon free times and the evening free times, he would come down, he would grab a drink, a cocktail, and he would go sit out on the outside veranda, and he would take his drink and he'd smoke. And he would sit out there, and people would come and say, "Hello, Mr. Von Daniken. I just wanted to say hello and that I've appreciated your work." He goes, Come. He says, "Sit down with me. We talk." And he would sit there for a half an hour and talk with people. I mean, he was fantastic in that sense. And so, yeah, it was good. Yeah, Michelle Canterbury, gum wrapper burgers. That has nothing to do with Von Daniken. That has to do with what I got this morning at about 2. That was at about 2:00 this morning, going through Dayton, Texas. And so, anyway, did you stir the shit in Andromeda, Doug? Way to go. All right. I hope they put up with you well. And so there you go. That's my take, Morgan, on Eric Von Daniken. Thought he was a decent man. We had our run-ins later, but I think he was a good guy. So, and I think he's a very good guy had he not been influenced to think the things he did. So, all right. Now, it's been officially a half an hour. It's 9:31. I'm going to take off. I'm going to have you guys, bid you guys a farewell and a nice night. And once again, we're going to play it. Just for those of you who missed it at the beginning, we now have the intro back and working since I got home, and I played with it for a half an hour. I got it all working. And we're going to import this down. This is part of what was missing with the show. We've got the real mic going. So we've got a real soundboard going. It's not the makeshift studio. Missing a couple of lights. The blue light burned out, so it's not shining back there. But I'll do this as an outro. I don't know if I can talk over this or not, but I'm going to wish you all a very good night on this note. Let's see if we can do it. Ready? Ready to roll? All right. Live long and prosper, folks. Here we go.
You're listening to the Intrepid radio program with Scotty Roberts. Intelligent talk.